Welcome to Health Business Mastery, the Creative Thirst podcast. I'm your host, Bobby Hewitt. This episode is part 2 of the Marketplace Awareness and Sophistication topic. If you missed the first part, you might want to go back and check out the previous episode to fill in the gaps. Marketplace awareness and sophistication is a very complex topic, which is why I chose to break it up into 2 episodes, and most marketers don't fully understand what they mean, how they're different, and the implications of both. In the first part, we unpacked what they were, and in this second part, we are going to dive into how to apply the level of awareness of the marketplace to your sales copy, your hooks, and your strategy for selling health supplements online. Without further ado, let's get started with part 2. Here's a quick recap into the definitions and differences between marketplace awareness and marketplace sophistication. A lot of marketers get awareness and sophistication mixed up. It's easy to do since they're both loosely connected. Marketplace awareness is simply the answer to how well known is your product, benefit, or problem in the marketplace. This includes what your prospect already knows about your product, your benefit, or even your main ingredient. On a product level, it's the answer to have they heard of calcium, magnesium, and vitamins D and K for bone health, for example. On a problem level, it's the answer to the question, what do they know about the problem? At each stage, the awareness level of the marketplace increases. Remember, awareness is all about how well the market knows their problem or your product. And there are 5 stages. Stage 1, completely unaware. Your prospects are not aware of their problem or the need for a solution at this stage. Stage 2, your prospect is problem aware. They are only aware of the problem and nothing else. At stage 3, they are solution aware. They are aware of the problem and the different solutions available to them. At stage 4, they're product aware. They are aware of the problem and the solution and of your product. They may know it by name, they may have seen it before, or they may just know that there are products that solve that problem in the marketplace. At stage 5, they're most aware. They're aware of what you offer and how it meets their needs. If you can identify the awareness level of the marketplace, then you'll know where the conversation needs to come in at, where your marketing needs to start in order to acquire new customers. It all goes back to what marketing approach should you use. Well, each level of awareness and sophistication determines how you should approach your sales copy and conversion rate optimization strategy. Let's take a look at some examples. If the market awareness is at a level 1, the completely unaware stage, your prospects are not aware of their problem or the need for a solution. They likely have never heard of your product promise before. This is a perfect example of CBD oil. The approach you need to take is offer plus promise or benefit. At this stage, the marketplace has not heard your promise before from you or any other competitor or alternative. All that's needed in this stage is to state the offer and the benefit. You're the first to market, and therefore, sophistication of the marketplace is very low or non-existent. The marketplace has not heard your promise before because there are simply no other offers out there like it, or there are not that many. Products or alternatives that you're competing with don't exist in this market. The marketing message, therefore, typically has a very broad promise. At this stage, all you need to do is be direct and state your claim, nothing more. You need to just simply get them interested. Then give them an opportunity to buy. You want to be simple, direct, and dramatize the claim. For example, take L-arginine again. The claim might sound something like this. Take L-arginine and you'll be the biggest guy in the gym. Then just simply introduce your product and prove that it works. The health and supplement industry is well past this stage, however, unless you're inventing a brand new device in a brand new category, like I said earlier, like CBD oil. If the marketplace is at this stage, you're likely the first to market, and your marketing can get away with just saying the promise and the benefit alone. Of course, in a compliant way. One important thing to note is that most of the time the market exists before the product. And it is usually through innovation or technology or science that a new product is created for stage 1 sophistication. Viagra is a great example because it literally created a new market with no competition. At first, anyway. Competition always follows stage 1, which leads us to approach number 2. Expand on the promise and the benefit. At this stage, competition starts heating up. There may not be many competitors, but they are starting to pop up, and your marketing message moves from simply stating a claim to expanding on the promise. And there are several sub-stages within the stage itself. As the marketplace goes to a higher level of awareness and sophistication, the selling evolves. At approach 2, you need to expand on the benefits. No longer is it enough to simply state what your product helps with. At this stage, the promise becomes a bit bigger. This is where dietary supplements step out of the compliance zone, almost as a necessity, because it becomes harder to sell as the market gets more knowledgeable. What I mean by expanding is adding to the promise along the following dimensions. But realize it's not limited to just these. Anything that takes the promise and makes it bigger can be considered an expansion. As a byproduct, consumer trust starts to erode very quickly in this stage. Some ways a promise can be expanded is by adding specificity to the benefit, or adding associated promises, or adding a dimension of time. Here's an example from Drew Canoli. The headline on this offer reads, "The 5-second solution that eases bloating, banishes cravings, and effortlessly melts away fat." This is an offer that is firmly in stage 2. It expands on the promise of fat loss on 2 dimensions. First, by expanding beyond fat loss to include bloating and cravings. These are all promises that are associated with stage 1 promise of simply lose fat. And second, through time, with the solution that only takes 5 seconds. That is another example of specificity in the offer here. Here's another example from Brian Flatt from the 3-Week Diet. A foolproof, science-based diet designed to melt away several pounds of stubborn body fat in just 21 days. That's the subheadline. And then the headline reads, "Little known extreme diet system that literally forces your body to melt away 1 to 2 pounds of stubborn body fat every day for the first 7 days." This supplement funnel example is also for an audience in stage 2 sophistication. The marketing message here expands on the promise across the dimensions of time by talking about 3 weeks, the 3-week diet, or just 21 days, just like the first example. And it also adds specificity to the benefit, 1 to 2 pounds of body fat, as well as another layer of time, every day for the first 7 days. In the headline, "Little known extreme diet system that literally forces your body to melt away 1 to 2 pounds of stubborn body fat every day for the first 7 days. To recap, the progression of the marketing message moves from just take this and get bigger, as in the case of L-arginine, take L-arginine and you'll be the biggest guy in the gym, to take L-arginine to get bigger because you'll be able to work out longer. It expands upon it. Then the message levels up. Take L-arginine and gain an extra 1/4 inch on your biceps, adding specificity. But it does not stop there. Marketers get into an expansion war in this stage and continue to exaggerate claims. It quickly turns into an even bigger promise. Something like, take L-arginine and gain an extra 1/2 inch on your biceps. We went from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch. Or take L-arginine and gain an extra inch on your biceps. Or take L-arginine and gain an extra 2 inches on your biceps in 3 weeks. The reaction to the marketing message itself begins to add sophistication to the marketplace. Thus, stage 2 changes the market and the prospects. They automatically start to discount the promise by at least half. So the claim has no choice at that point but to get bigger and bigger until the market gets to the point where they stop believing you altogether. This is the slippery slope stage where trust is lost. And this is part of the problem in optimizing for a health supplement buyer, where trust and belief are two very important frameworks that we use every day. At this point, the marketplace sophistication enters stage 3, which leads us to the marketing approach number 3, expanding the offer using a unique mechanism. With approach 3, many prospects have heard all the claims before. It's been expanded on in stage 2, and the expansion is now commonplace, meaning they are seeing expansion marketing messages more and more. Prospects may have even tried several different products in your category. Most of them are jaded and skeptical because other marketers have made claims that were too big. So your marketing now has to expand on the offer through the unique mechanism at this stage. The unique mechanism is the reason why this will work. It's the proof of the claim. For a dietary supplement, the unique mechanism can be many things. It can be a particular part of the manufacturing process or where your raw ingredients are sourced from, if they're plant-based versus animal-based, for example, or the unique mechanism can be a particular ingredient or a combination of ingredients and how they interact together. Or the unique mechanism can even be the delivery method, like the way a supplement gets into your body, like, for example, a spray versus a sublingual versus a liposomal delivery. The unique mechanism can even be a method or process or philosophy of healing that your company stands behind or believes in. An example of unique mechanism for a particular ingredient is Garcinia cambogia. Back in around 2012 or 13, the supplement Garcinia cambogia kind of exploded upon the scene. It was a very popular fat loss supplement. And the unique mechanism or ingredient that differentiates it from competitors is Garcinia cambogia itself. It was a caffeine-based weight loss supplement. If you go into Google Trends and you track the supplement name Garcinia cambogia, it shows the rise and fall of popularity of that ingredient as a unique marketing mechanism. What you'll see is a graph that starts off nothing and then spikes up very, very quickly and then comes down extremely quickly. So that is literally where the market was created out of nothing. And the top of that peak is where it spiked, and then the downward trend is where it was over. That's an example of how response rates kind of track over time as well to your unique mechanism, because you're seeing the rise and fall of a stage 3 marketplace awareness in that graph from Google Trends. Using the unique mechanism in your marketing message in late 2013, early 2014, when Garcinia Cambogia first came on the scene, is when the market was in this stage of awareness. After that, the effectiveness of that mechanism started working less and less because of the spike in competition, which creates similar promises plus unique mechanisms in their marketing messages. Then that kind of messaging starts popping up everywhere, and the downward trend in the graph begins to slope down. And that indicates that the marketing awareness is moving to the next stage. Customers have seen this and heard this before. Sometimes in this stage, we'll see marketers enter into a competition over who can trump whose proof. So they start layering on bigger scientific studies in the supplement industry or more proof than the competition has. Most of the amateur health marketers get tripped up here, however, getting stuck in kind of the proof game. It's important to understand that the unique mechanism is what makes your product different, but it doesn't have to actually be unique. It could be just a particular way the product is manufactured that no one else is talking about. You could overproof a product to the point where it gets too much science and jargon and you're confusing people. So an example I'd like to talk about is from Schlitz beer. And this is one where the way the product was manufactured has not been talked about before. That's the key unique mechanism here. So the classic example is Schlitz beer from copywriting legend Claude Hopkins. So he took the beer from number 5 in the U.S. market to neck and neck with number 1 in just a few months. And he did that by keying in on the unique mechanism because that's the stage that the marketplace was in. So at the time, all the beer companies were talking about was how pure their beer was. But Hopkins tapped into a unique mechanism in the process that Schlitz was doing to ensure purity of their beer, which was actually the same exact process every beer company was doing. But the key is that no beer company was talking about it in their marketing and advertising. So once Claude Hopkins added that to the advertising, it suddenly was new and added that layer of unique mechanism. And since no one was talking about it, which is why it was new, it took off. The takeaway is that the unique mechanism likely already exists within your product. The best examples can be found in the information publishing space, because that industry is usually in this stage for a much longer time frame than the average industry. Partly because you can literally create a new mechanism over and over and over out of thin air in the information publishing space. This allows your marketing to stay in this stage much longer than other industries typically can, which is why you'll see a lot of health supplement companies creating information products and books to support their supplement sales. But just like in the saturation of stage 3, the unique mechanism expands too far because of the increased audience sophistication and the increased competition, and marketing needs to level up yet again to the next stage, which is approach number 4. Differentiate the unique mechanism and expand the benefit. At approach 4, the mechanism becomes elaborated, just like the promise did in the earlier stage. So your prospects are in this stage if your promise and unique mechanism has been presented in the marketplace. Both have been seen and heard by your prospects many times, but it hasn't yet been expanded on. You're dealing with more savvy buyer at this stage of the market. They have heard about the unique mechanism already, and they need something new to propel them to buy. The promise is still important here, but how the promise is delivered is what is becoming expanded upon. This is the sign of a mature market, which is where most of the products in the health and supplement space sits. So just like in stage 2, this adds expansion on top of the previous stage. But this time the expansion is on the mechanism versus the promise, because the marketplace has become more sophisticated. In stage 4, the unique mechanism becomes elaborated, just like the promise did in stage 2, and it quickly pushes itself out of the range of believability. This is the sign of a mature market, which is where the health and supplement market squarely sits. This is why trust and belief are so vital to optimizing any health sale online. Eventually, no new mechanisms will work. The market will grow tired of all the false promises, and they would have heard all of them dozens of times before, and once that happens, the market begins to shrink because the competitors start dropping out in large numbers, which quickly leads to stage 5. In stage 5, the approach you should take is identifying with the prospect. Your prospects are in this stage if your mechanism has been presented and it has been expanded on. But in stage 5 of the marketplace, the messaging turns away from the benefits and the product and back towards the prospect. This is the holy grail of copywriting. Eventually, no new mechanisms will work with the marketplace in this stage. The market will grow tired of all the false promises, and once that happens, marketing begins to shrink. This is the final stage of marketplace sophistication. At this stage, the market is very mature. Your market no longer believes in your marketing message. They don't care about your product. At this stage, the marketing message moves from the promise and the mechanism that delivers the promise to bringing the prospect back into your marketing message with identification of the prospect and their emotion rather than their desire for the outcome. To do that, you need to understand your prospect extremely well. It becomes more difficult to convert your prospect at this stage and moves off of your product and focuses on the prospect. The health and wellness market is a very mature one, meaning that people have already heard almost every promise marketers can think of. As a result, trust is strained at the point of breaking, and it's getting harder to market your product. It's just the nature of markets at this point. As they are exposed to marketing, their advertising sophistication increases, and the marketing stops working unless it evolves to the next stage. The important takeaway from the top 5 levels of marketing awareness is that it's completely relative to your marketplace. A message will work down towards the marketplace stages, meaning it'll work if the message is higher and the marketplace is lower, but it won't work at a higher stage, meaning if you have a marketing message that is at a higher stage than Creative Thirst is a direct response digital agency focusing on conversion rate optimization and A/B testing. We work with dietary supplement companies who are struggling to maximize the profitability of their funnels so they can scale. Through the last 7 years in the online health space, we've optimized many dietary supplement businesses. And in that time, we've uncovered the 3 critical funnels for success. We put together that information in a free digital download called The 3 Funnels Every Health Supplement Business Needs to Build a Multi-million-dollar Empire. You can get that free report by going to creativethirst.com. Scroll down to the appropriate section and click on the blue Get Your ebook button.